Should I accept cookies on my computer? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's a very common question that highlights something, a frustration, if you will, that we've all been dealing with for some time. Is it okay to accept legitimate interest cookies when I come across them when trying to access a website, often from a link from one of my known, regular, and thus legit sites? There are usually so many of them that it's impractical to detick them all. There could be 100 plus. There's usually no clear all option. That makes me think that it's made deliberately awkward so that folks don't detick, which makes me just a tad cautious and suspicious. Generally speaking, are they okay? Generally speaking, they're okay. What you're seeing is unfortunately the result of what I consider to be some really poor government legislation, the EU's GDPR. There are many good things about the GDPR, don't get me wrong, but this specific thing has, I think, caused more annoyance and a lot of unnecessary fear because of what it does. And that is simply when you visit a website that uses cookies, they have to ask you if it's okay to use cookies. And every website uses cookies. So the first time you visit any website, it's going to ask you. And as a result, as we surf the web, as we go from site to site, we get asked over and over and over again whether or not we want to accept cookies. The short answer is that the web won't work without them, right? There are things in cookies that are used to basically make your experience online possible. Yes, there are other things that cookies can be used for as well. And I think that really gives rise to this whole concept of being aware that cookies are being used. But the fact is, you can just assume that cookies are being used everywhere because they are. Okay, let's back up a little bit. What's a cookie? A cookie is nothing more than a piece of data that is left by a website when you visit that website. So, for example, when you visit askleo.com, there's a good chance that the website will place a cookie on your machine. One example might be a cookie with a name, _GA, typically for Google Analytics, and then content, which will have basically something that is probably indecipherable to you and me. That's okay. What happens next is that the next time you ask for another page from that same site, so you either go to the next page in askleo.com or you come back a day or two later, the browser, when it makes the request for the web page from askleo.com, it notices that it has a cookie for askleo.com. When it makes its request for whatever page it is you're looking for, it then says, hey, in addition to giving me this page, last time you were here, you left this cookie. Here is the cookie back. So that means that the cookie that was left the first time you visited is then provided back to the website the next time you visit it. And that's one way that the site knows that it's you. It's the same person, or rather, it's the same browser. Cookies are specific to computer and specific to browsers. So if you are running, say, Chrome, you'll have a different set of cookies than you do in Edge. But the concept is still very much the same. Why are we so concerned about cookies? Well, to begin with, like I said, cookies are important. They are the kind of thing that prevents you from needing to log in for every single page you might visit on a website. So, for example, if you log in to askleo.com with your Askleo account, then when you then visit another page and another page and another page, the system knows that you're already logged in. That information is kept in cookies. The concern, of course, is that this is also how advertising networks are able to basically track what you've been interested in. On a site that displays advertisements, there'll be a cookie left related to that specific advertising network. Then, when you go to another website, a completely different website, an unrelated website that happens to use That same advertising network, they get the cookie that says, hey, this was him. This was Leo. That actually, I got a cookie from him on this one site, and now we're going to this other site that happens to use the same advertising network. Here's the cookie. What the advertising networks do, of course, is they aggregate this information. They love to know not what you are doing. They don't care what Leo is doing, but what they care about are the hundreds and thousands of people that were interested in X, might be interested in seeing advertisements for X later. They might then perhaps purchase X. That's the point of what is typically called remarketing. So, like I said, they don't care about you. They care about people like you or people who have shown interest in things. But that's really about it. Like I said, almost every site on the internet uses cookies in one form or another for a variety of purposes. There are all sorts of different things, like I've described, and more that cookies may be used for. So, what's the answer to the ultimate question, right? Are these cookies generally okay? Absolutely. In fact, I generally just hit accept all as quickly as I can because I want to get on to using the website that I've just started to visit. There are even browser extensions that will click on accept all for you when it shows up, so that maybe it'll just flash in front of you, but you actually don't have to pay attention. The whole concept of asking you on every website, again, to me, is rather silly because we know that all sites use cookies, and the average consumer does not know, when given a selection of which cookies are okay, which ones do you choose? I let them drop all the cookies they want to, because ultimately, it's just not that big a deal. It's more of an annoyance that I'm being asked than anything else. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/168042. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.